Well, to discuss this further, I'm joined by Socio and Public Affairs Analyst Zariyi Yusuf. Hello, Mr. Yusuf. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. So, kindly share your thoughts on the role of the rollout of the 1 trillion naira for households in Nigeria to boost food security.
Well, I think that idea gave me the birth of a term I would refer to as the Lawrence-Aninian syndrome. You solve a problem primarily by understanding its root cause. When you have a good understanding of the cause of a problem and you still prefer dealing with the symptoms, then there's a bigger issue. An example is what that huge sum of money, that amount of money intends to solve is a problem we well know, that primarily the parts of the country that produce most of what we consume as food, a substantial percentage of those farmlands cannot be accessed. Now, while trillions, hundreds of billions and all of that sound very huge, to every particular family, we are talking about just about, I think, 50,000 naira per month, and that should run for a couple of months, I think. I think the last I got a bag of rice was 85,000 naira. That goes to maybe a few things you find in the market with certain prices that you'd think it's a joke. So it does look big looking at the amount of money. But then I think we are wasting a lot of energy, a lot of resources on things that basically do not have any bearing whatsoever with solving the issue. If you'd ask me, I think 20 or 30% of this amount in particular would mobilize enough forces of the Nigerian army, the mobile police, and possibly a lot of community vigilantes to flush out the primary cause of food scarcity and why certain people have taken advantage of this and has made life difficult for people, which is primarily insecurity. And while it may appear like something that is well intended, a good intention, it's rather unfortunate that the policies that are being applied are such that you want to use taxes, you want to use the hiking of prices, PMS, and certain other goods to strangle the middle class and primarily overtax them to make life unbearable for them. So basically, to make sure that anything such as the middle class is non-existent. And then you begin to hand out peanuts to masses, which definitely will not solve, their problem. So I think it's a simple case of a man who could easily get 10 sacks of fertilizer to produce crops in a village, but would rather choose to buy to buy pap and share for people every morning, say maybe for 2 weeks, I will be doing this, so he appears generous. And I think it's a bit of I don't want to call it a cultural issue, but it's quite pathetic. Maybe it's cultural in the sense of, our political rulers, but we've been wasting a whole lot of resources. And I think,
if you can hear me, are you saying that this particular initiative would have little or no impact on Nigerians? I'm talking about the masses, especially those who are finding it difficult to even feed 3 times a day in light of the current economic challenges that we're facing right now.
So first of all, if there was any justification to this intervention from the government, we will not pretend that we are unaware of the tradition in Nigeria where huge sums of money are released for a particular purpose and then people steal it. So we are not ignorant of that. So we know quite well that a substantial part of that money is not even reaching the masses. That is one. That is assuming there was anything justifiable about it. So it's a waste of money. It looks as if it's a move where, 20 billion was used to build somebody's house. This amount of money was used.
Zariyi, you talked about it being a waste of money. If you can hear me, you talked about it being a waste of money. What would you, what would the federal government rather do with that amount, than this particular initiative?
What the federal government should do, not necessarily with that amount, is to first of all cut down the unnecessary cost of governance. Where you acquire bulletproofs, you acquire custom-made vehicles for people who don't legislate anything, where you waste a lot of money building houses, where you waste a lot of money on luxuries for government officials. That's one. And then secondly, you could put those resources to either mobilizing enough forces, giving them the moral boost, giving them the equipment they need to comb our forest, to kill these terrorists that have made sure that about 35 to 45 or maybe 50% of our farmlands are either not being cultivated or are cultivated, but farmers can't harvest them. Okay. So when you do that, the farmer does not need you coming to his village to share, I don't really know, to give them chicken change, to give them a few cups of grains and all of that. That basically is, I think, what the government should focus on. But you cannot ignore the root cause of why people are hungry, and then you keep sharing peanuts to them, simply because it sounds like trillions.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Yusuf, for your opinion on this.
Thank you so much.